Yes, people, what's going on? It's Seagull Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Now, before we go any further, please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. We need to talk about all the latest transfer news around Arsenal and everything that's floating around. I'm going to be talking about today, I got some bullet points for you guys, some topics we're going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing a shock defender move. Arsenal looking at a former Manchester City defender in Laporte. I honestly hope that's not true. There's also rumors that from David Ornstein himself about latest updates on Nico Williams, latest updates on many other players that we're looking at and what's going on with that. Arsenal are currently looking at a center back to support Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba, who are Arsenal's first choice pairing, of course. Gunnar Blog and David Ornstein have also came out with some other reports. So we're going to go through all of that. Before we go any further, please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. And let me know in the comment section, who do you want Arsenal to sign this summer transfer window? We're currently, started the second phase of the transfer window, as we didn't sign anybody in the first couple days. Hopefully we do sign somebody soon. But Zubimendi seems to be done. Kepa seems to be done. We're working on 2 strikers. I just want everyone to calm down a little bit. It's not the end of the world that we haven't signed anybody yet. So just relax. It's not the end of the world. We're going to get signings through the door eventually. First things first. What are you guys talking about in the comment section? What are we doing here? Are you one of the island boys? Do I look like an island boy? Next, you got somebody here saying Barcelona have reached an agreement with Nico Williams, contract valid until 2031. Santi. All right, let's talk about Nico Williams. Nico Williams' situation is very straightforward, guys. It's very straightforward. Nico Williams is not going to be an Arsenal player. Nico Williams is going to be a Barcelona player. He's not joining Chelsea. He's not joining Arsenal. He's not joining Bayern Munich. He has decided to go to Barcelona to go play with his friend and his compadre, whatever you want to call it, Lamine Yamal. Why would he join anybody else in football if he has an opportunity to play with his friend, Lamine Yamal? Now, I don't think Barcelona are making the best choice. I think Barcelona are making a mistake. I think Barcelona should stay clear of Nico Williams and maybe get somebody else. With Rafinha being so good, you don't necessarily need Nico Williams. But hey, Barcelona, it's confirmed. Fabrizio Romano confirmed it. David Ornstein reported it. He's going to be a Barcelona player. Rafinha is going to have competition for his places. They're going to have a little bit more squad depth, and it allows them to maybe not stretch themselves so thin with Rafinha in the future. So Barcelona getting Nico Williams, what a signing for them. Amazing signing for them. Barcelona, they won the goddamn domestic treble last year, and they're looking like they're going to be dangerous again next year. It's just how football is nowadays. You need to have squad depth. You need to have things going your way. And hopefully this means that we can go and get somebody else instead. I personally didn't even want Nico Williams like that. I'm kind of happy that we didn't get Nico Williams. But Barcelona, great signing for Barcelona, as he's their third choice. He's not their first choice at right wing. He's not their first choice at left wing. This is a great signing for them. But yeah, big up to you, Jamal, saying big up Iga. Love your content. Keep up the hard work, inshallah. Thank you very much. Someone's here saying, I want Nico. I prefer Rodrygo. I don't want Nico. I prefer Rodrygo. I agree. I also prefer Rodrygo. But let's talk about what else David Ornstein reported in this article, because he reported a lot. He reported a lot in this article, and the best way to go there and explain what he reported is by showing you guys what else he spoke about. So we already know about the Chelsea Arsenal cooling interests on Nico Williams. Of course, we're going to cool interest. He's basically a Barcelona player at this point. So obviously we're going to cool our interest. We're not going to talk about it as if we're going to still sign him, because that would be idiotic. But the interesting part for me is that Xavi Simons has told his club that he wants to leave. And this was also reported by David Ornstein today. So this right here, I find very interesting. Xavi Simons being one of the players that I would look at in the case that we do not pull off the Rodrygo deal. This would be a player that I would consider Arsenal should go for, and I think is a quality player, and we should consider. Xavi Simons has told Barcelona. Sorry, he has told why did I say Barcelona? Xavi Simons has told what do you call it? RB Leipzig that he wants to leave, and Arsenal could swoop in for Xavi Simons. So my question, the first question I'm going to ask you guys of the day, the first poll question of the day is going to be Xavi Simons to Arsenal. Who says no? Is it Xavi Simons? Is it Arsenal not wanting a player in Xavi Simons' quality? Xavi Simons to Arsenal. Would you take him? Yes or no? Could Arsenal sign Xavi Simons? Let me know, because I think Xavi Simons would be a quality signing for Arsenal, and I think Xavi Simons, outside of Eze and Rodrygo, I would take him. So could Arsenal swoop in for Xavi Simons? Question mark. Let me know in the comment section if you agree, if you disagree, yes or no. Do you think Xavi Simons would be a good option? He can play on the right, he can play in the middle, he can play in the left, he can even play as a second striker up top. This is a very versatile player and somebody I would consider as a good option in the case that we do not get a Rodrygo or somebody of quality. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Before we go any further though, shout out to everyone in the comment section, especially the people on Twitter. We do also have more news on Rodrygo. So this is the news with Rodrygo and Arsenal today from David Onstein. David Onstein reported that Arsenal are admirers of Anthony Gordon. I don't think Anthony Gordon is coming to Arsenal. Sorry. Anybody who thinks Anthony Gordon's coming to Arsenal, I think you're a little bit mistaken. I think you're kind of fooling yourself. I think Anthony Gordon is going to be staying at Newcastle, and Newcastle don't need to sell. They're not in a position where they need to sell. They don't have They have Champions League football. I don't think they're in massive financial constraints. So I don't think it's the end of the world if we miss out on a player like Anthony Gordon. And plus, the price tag for what they're asking for Anthony Gordon, in my opinion, is too high. I think it's extremely silly that they're looking at a ridiculous price tag like that for Anthony Gordon. So I would stay clear. I wouldn't go for Anthony Gordon. And as for the Rodrygo point in this article, it says Rodrygo is of interest, although a deal is unlikely to come cheap. That could present a challenge. Now, the Rodrygo deal being cheap or not being cheap, I could not care less if the deal is cheap or if the deal is not cheap. I just want the player. I think the player Rodrygo is going to be quite expensive in the sense of his wages. I think he might be quite expensive in the case of a transfer fee. Even maybe, what are we looking at? 70 to 80 million pounds minimum. I don't think that is ridiculously expensive for Rodrygo. I think what would be expensive for Rodrygo would be his actual wages. Now, Arsenal should be willing to pay his wages, in my opinion. Arsenal should be willing to look at him and say, we are interested in Rodrygo and we're willing to get him for whatever price. But the problem with the Rodrygo situation is, would Rodrygo leave? Would Rodrygo actually leave? Where could Rodrygo actually end up? Do we see a situation where Rodrygo is actually sold? Is Rodrygo even available? He's made it clear at over the last coming days and weeks that he wants to stay at Real Madrid. But reports keep coming out that he is not part of the plans. There's reports that in the Club World Cup, in their next game versus Al Hilal, that Vinicius and Mbappe will start up top, and he won't even be starting up top. So with that being said, what are we supposed to believe? All these Madrid sources coming out and saying Rodrygo is not going to be sold. Some saying that Rodrygo will be sold. Some saying this, some saying that. Just the last couple hours, this is the reports that are coming out. Rodrygo shown positive attitude in training. Xabi Alonso has been attentive and affectionate, and is also demanding a lot from Rodrygo. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Rodrygo will stay in Real Madrid. Some people are saying Rodrygo with his family. I didn't know he had 3 kids. Big up. Man's young and he has 3 kids already. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's wait and see what happens, because if I go to Kiko Suarez, he is reporting something completely different. Now, if you don't know who Kiko is, Kiko Suarez is the guy who is still reporting to this day that it's going to happen, that Rodrygo will become an Arsenal player. This is the man who's saying Rodrygo to Arsenal is going to happen. This is the man who's saying, he said, fuck it. Rodrygo to leave Real Madrid this season, as Franco joining is a key factor in him being sold. And now the Argentinian is here at the club. The player is ready to part ways. According to my sources, Rodrygo will be an Arsenal player very soon. There's also possible clubs, but Arsenal is more likely. The one really sticking my neck out here, but 90% done. 90% done. And by the way, somebody asked him the other day about Kiko. No, it's actually take it back. Everything is wrong. Fuck it. He'll never leave before the Club World Cup. What? What is he talking about? No, this man's trolling us. This man is trolling me. Where is it? Where is it? I swear I seen something. Oh no, this guy tweets so much, man. I can't keep track of it. Okay, so yeah. Of course he tweets a lot. He's a freaking content creator. But that's where the main crux of everything came from. And at this point he's just trolling. By Kiko's stand, time will tell. Rodrygo, question mark. Is there any updates on Rodrygo here? Time will tell. Another one saying, oh, he's just bantering. Honestly, I really do trust this Kiko Suarez guy. Hopefully he's not just some fake ITK, but he put his neck out on the line there to say that Rodrygo is going to happen. So we're going to have to wait and see what ends up happening. If Rodrygo does leave, if Rodrygo doesn't leave, time will tell, as everyone's saying. But right now, that is one of the main reports with the Rodrygo, Kiko Suarez situation. Very interesting to say the least. Now, we are also linked to defenders. And the defenders that we're linked to, not so interested in the defenders that we're linked to. One of the defenders we're linked to today is former Manchester City player Aymeric Laporte. Yeah, Laporte. Arsenal's linked to Laporte. Guys, I don't want to be interested in... I don't want Arsenal to sign Laporte. Why are we looking at Laporte? Why is Laporte even an option on the table right now? Now, I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, he's cheap. He has Premier League experience. Oh, this, that. No. No. Guys, we need better. We need better. We should not be going for Aymeric Laporte. No. Let Napoli, Inter Milan, Aston Villa, Marseille, Atletico Bilbao, let one of them sign him. In my opinion, he's just trying to get minutes so he can get into the World Cup team for Spain. Let him do that elsewhere. I personally would rather Arsenal go for stronger, younger, scope to grow players that have the room to improve and become better. I think we've seen the best of Laporte in the Premier League when he was at Manchester City, and it just does not make sense for me that Arsenal would go strong and try to sign him this window. It just doesn't make sense for me. And I could name 4 different defenders that Arsenal could sign, that some of them being cheap, some of them being expensive, and some of them just being a little bit of a good scouts doing their job. And I think it would be a situation where if we do get a guy like Alexsandro, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, we did a video on Alexsandro Ribeiro. It was a couple days ago. We did a video on him too, and then you also have Jorrel Hato. How do you pronounce it? Jorrel Hato. But we do kind of have an issue because Hato's Dutch. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool came knocking that he would go to Liverpool. So let me give you my 4 candidates for the center back position and what we're going to do in that center back position right now. Let's see. So first things first, there's 4 different guys, right? So there's 4 different guys, and each one is going to have a different story. But Marc Guehi is going to be the first one we're going to talk about. The situation with Marc Guehi is very simple. He is going to go for around £45 million. The Athletic have reported that Arsenal are interested in Marc Guehi. We are interested in Marc Guehi, but Marc Guehi would cost around £45 million. Plus, he would want some more guarantees than some of these other guys. I don't know if he's going to want to start week in, week out, wherever he goes, or if he's willing to fight for his place. But he does not want to risk his World Cup spot. He does not want to risk the situation where he comes to a team, doesn't get guaranteed minutes, and then finds his way out of the World Cup team. That would be terrible. So he's going to probably want to go somewhere like Newcastle, where he can get week in, week out football, Aston Villa, elsewhere. And even if the Crystal Palace are in Europe, he'd want to probably stay in Europe. So let's just wait and see with that. And at this moment in time, I don't think Marc Guehi would be joining Arsenal Football Club at all, in my opinion. The next person we're going to be talking about is very simple. It's a certain Jorrel Hato. Jorrel Hato is a player who is liked by Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool. Liverpool are the third team that are also interested in Hato. The thing about Hato is he's Dutch. He's one of the captains of the Ajax team, and at such a young age, he's shown promise at left back and at center back. This is a man who can do a lot of things for your team, solve a lot of problems within your squad depth. And with him being Dutch, there's rumors that he would rather want to go to Liverpool than Arsenal, because he has questions over Arsenal and the amount of game time that they would be able to give him. And his preferred destination might actually be Chelsea, as Chelsea could give him the most guaranteed minutes, and he could push into that Chelsea starting 11, where there's no guarantee if he comes to Arsenal or Liverpool that he'll get guaranteed minutes. So Hato is a very interesting one to watch, in my opinion. Now, there is one more that we need to speak about. There's 2 more defenders we need to speak about before we move on to other names. Those defenders, this one here is very, very interesting. This is one of the more highly touted young center backs across Europe. This man is 20 years old. He is already playing in the under-21 Spanish national team, and the reports are that his passing is up there with some of the best in the world. This is who it is, the man himself, Valencia's Mosquera. Mosquera is wanted by Real Madrid on a free transfer for next year. He's wanted by Liverpool. He's wanted by Bayern. He's wanted by all the top clubs across Europe. He's available for a cheap cut price deal, as he only has 1 year remaining on his contract. Arsenal should go and get him. If you're not going to get Hato, if you're not going to get Marc Guehi, this is the man we should get to be the backup for Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. He's cheap, he's affordable, and if there's a situation where he doesn't wait 1 more year at Valencia, we should go for him. Real Madrid want him, everybody wants him. But can Arsenal pull it off? Can we get him to convince him to come to Arsenal and be a backup until maybe Saliba leaves in a year's time or 2 years' time? Who knows? But these are the guys that we're linked to. And this is a guy who everybody wants. Everybody wants him. Every club would want to sign him. I don't blame anybody if they're saying, you know what, bring him in now, save our money, and think about it later. This is a quality player, and I'll be shocked if he doesn't get a move this window, as he'll be going on a free next year, regardless if he doesn't move this window. And whoever gets him, they're getting a steal. They're getting a steal. This is like Timber all over again. It's a cheap deal. Somebody's going to scoop him up for 20 million euros or 25 million euros, and he's going to be performing like he's a 70, 50 million pound player. Let's just see where he ends up. Hopefully it's Arsenal. But if he doesn't end up at Arsenal, there's one last defender that Arsenal could sign that would maybe keep everybody interested in. And we're going to talk about strikers in a second, because people are like, where's the strikers? Well, we're going to sign a striker, but we're also going to sign another defender. And the reason why we're going to sign another defender, we need another backup for these guys. With the likes of Zinchenko potentially leaving, KT has already left, and Tomiyasu's not reliable. We need one more defensive backup in the team, and it needs to be affordable. So this is the guy that Arsenal is now looking at, and Napoli's also looking at him. This is probably the cheapest deal out of all of them, maybe. Alexsandro from Lille. He is 25 years old. He can play with both feet. He can play both on the right side, left side. He can pass with both feet. His passing range is immaculate. He's a good, solid defender. This is another player that Arsenal is looking at in the defensive areas ahead of Aymeric Laporte. So I'm very confident that we'll pull off one of those guys. And I hope that we do not ever really take any of these links to Laporte serious. But yeah. Tell us more about Garcia joining Barcelona. Yeah, you know what? Fair play. Garcia joins Barcelona. We're going to sign Kepa. Nothing really to talk about there. Where's the strikers? We're going to talk about the strikers in a second. We're gonna get to the strikers in a second. But before we get to the strikers, let's quickly talk about this right here. Honestly, this is annoying. Annoying to say the least. Real Madrid wants none other than Myles Lewis-Skelly. Yep. Real Madrid have had internal discussions about Myles Lewis-Skelly. Should Arsenal be worried? You know something? No. Arsenal should not be worried, because this is what happens when you have quality players. You have clubs of the ilk of Real Madrid trying to sign your quality players. But you know what is worrying? What is worrying is Real Madrid's literally has people petrified because of their transfer policy, which is to try to get players on free transfers. Real Madrid could potentially go and sign 3 defenders on free transfers next season with Konate, Mosquera, and Myles Lewis-Skelly. But luckily for us, Arsenal feel confident that Myles Lewis-Skelly will sign a new deal. Luckily for us, Arsenal feel confident that he will get a new deal and he will most likely stay at Arsenal. But of course, you're going to have a conversation. Of course, you're going to speak to the players' agents. Of course, you're going to try to do whatever you can. But in my eyes, isn't this tapping up? Is that even legal? Can you legally go up to these guys with a year left in their contract and start speaking to them? Because if I'm not mistaken, you can only start speaking to them after 6 months. If I'm not mistaken, you can only start speaking to these players after 6 months. But hey, Fabrizio Romano has said it. We are confident that and optimistic of getting a deal done. And as talks are already in the advanced stage, Arsenal are not worried by any recent links with any club, and he is fully expected to stay at Arsenal. So there you go. Great news right there. We don't need to stress out. We don't need to worry too much. We don't need to panic. No worries here in my books. So there you go. I'm chilling. We're chilling. We're kicking it. No need to panic there. in other news, there's some news about sales, and some people were talking about potential sales at Arsenal. And one person threw out the idea of selling Calafiori. I personally don't think we're going to sell Calafiori. I don't think we're looking to sell Calafiori. But AC Milan have inquired into Calafiori services. So my question to everyone in the chat is, would you sell Calafiori? I think it would be a mistake to sell Calafiori. We haven't seen enough of him to say that he's not worthy of the stature of playing for Arsenal. And yes, he's had injury issues, but other players have had injury issues in the past, gotten over the line from the injury issues and become better players. Look at the current top Ballon d'Or candidate right now, Ousmane Dembele. He was previously considered injury prone and a liability at Barcelona at times, and now he's considered one of the best players in the world and potentially going to win a Ballon d'Or at PSG. I don't think Arsenal should write off Calafiori, and it's good that Arsenal rebuffed AC Milan's offer for Calafiori. By the way, their offer was less than what we paid for him last season. So why would we then accept a deal to sell Calafiori for less than what we paid for him last year? I think that would be a mistake. And this is why we are trying to sell Zinchenko, because Zinchenko is not really part of the plans anymore. Zinchenko, I think, would do well at AC Milan. Zinchenko would be a player who walks into the AC Milan team and would make a difference, be it in the midfield or in that left-back position. And with them losing their left-back, Hernandez leaving, they need a left-back. So we should try to sell Zinchenko to AC Milan. They have been interested in him. They're willing to pay. AC Milan are willing to pay for Zinchenko's transfer fee. They're just worried about paying Zinchenko's paycheck, because they're saying his wages is the major issue in pushing. Milan is ready to push for the signing, but the wages is the major obstacle at this moment in time, because he's making way too much for their blood at this moment in time. We're going to have to wait and see what happens, but his wage demands are the problem at this moment in time. We're going to have to wait and see what he wants, how he wants things to go. But it is not looking good for the Zinchenko deal to AC Milan at this moment in time. Zinchenko's on decent wages, so wherever he goes, he's going to want decent wages. And that's just how football is. You're not going to really take a pay cut just for a move. Although Nico Williams seems to be that guy that's going to be taking a pay cut just for a move. Fair play to him. Do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button right now, though, guys. Please do hit that subscribe button while you guys are here also. And before we get on to all the Sesko and Zubimendi talk, there is one more story that we need to discuss before we get to the Sesko and Zubimendi talk. And that is of another Salzburg player. The Salzburg player that we're going to be talking about is none other than Anton Nas. Anton Nas, yes. So Napoli were also interested in him. Arsenal are interested in him. Chelsea have been interested in him in the past when he played in Belgium. This is a guy who made his move from Belgium to the Bundesliga, and he is a Norwegian international. He's playing in the front. He's playing in that front three with Haaland and Odegaard and everybody over there in Norway. He's previously been linked to Tottenham also. I'm just going to say this. I don't know enough about this guy to say if he is going to improve us or if he's just another forward that can just be added to the team. But from what I can see, he better just be squad depth, because I don't know if this guy's good enough to take us to another level. 45 million euros for this guy, I reckon it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. And this is who I'm talking about. Sorry if I didn't show it on screen. But yeah, this is who I'm talking about. I think it would be a terrible move for Arsenal to get another developmental young star in a position where we need level raisers. We don't need more young players in these positions. We already have Martinelli, Saka. We need level raisers. We need players who can come in and make a difference right away. If you're not going to go and get me Rodrygo, go and get Eze. Go and get Xavi Simons. If you get this guy, you're not serious. I'm sorry. We're not serious if we go and get Nasi. I don't think Nasi is a potential level raiser. I don't think he's that good. And I think it would be a waste of money spending it on 45 million euros on another potential signing. We're just looking at too much potential. Get me some win now players. We're in a stage where we need to deliver now. We're not in a situation that Manchester United and Tottenham are in where they're rebuilding. We're not in a stage where Chelsea's in where they're still acquiring talents. We're in a stage where we need to deliver. And a signing like this tells me that the club does not have. If this is our left wing signing, I would be extremely underwhelmed and I would be disappointed. But yeah, that's just me. If this is a player who we get on top of everything else and we get 3 attackers, then I hold my hand up. That's not bad. But if he is the left wing target, I'll be disappointed, extremely disappointed. And it will tell me a lot about what the state of the club is. Now, before we go any further, we're going to talk about Sesko. We're going to talk about what's actually happening with Sesko, because last time I checked, what was really going on with Sesko? It is very interesting, and what's really going on with everybody else is very interesting too. But yeah, quickly, we got a quick update on Rodrygo. What is this? Interesting. Please do hit that like button. Anyways, let's go. So Mario reports that Rodrygo ended the European season unhappy with his situation and has now attracted interest from several clubs in the Premier League, with Arsenal keen in keeping an eye on his situation. His father and his agent are unwilling to enter into negotiations right now. Sources say that Rodrygo has attracted attention since returning to his training and has been positive, and so Alonso very attentive with him and showing him affection while also demanding a lot from the Brazilian. However, the forward is used during the Club World Cup could be key on how the transfer window develops. Nothing really new there. We kind of already knew that. So thank you for that quick little update and giving us an update on what's going on with that. Let's go on to this situation here. So Arsenal strategy with the strikers is very, very interesting, to say the least. This is the situation. Arsenal are looking at 3 targets. We're looking at 3 players at the exact same time. We're looking at Sesko, we're looking at Viktor Gyokeres, and we're also looking at Watkins. Yes, Watkins is the 3rd choice. Now, who's better? I think Gyokeres is the best out of the 3. And to say Watkins might actually be the 2nd best. I don't know how good Sesko is going to be. I don't know how poor Sesko is going to be. But I am not somebody who would take a risk on Sesko. The club seems to have scouted him and be very excited. A year ago, maybe I would have been more excited. But right now, I'm not as excited about Sesko. I feel like he stagnated last season. He hasn't really shown much improvement last season. And maybe that's because he was playing a 2-striker system. Maybe in an Arsenal team, he'll get more goals. We'll see. But I'm seeing Viktor Gyokeres' camp offering him out to Real Madrid, offering themselves out to all sorts of different clubs. And it's just really, really, really worrying. honestly. Let's get into it, though. Who's Arsenal going to sign? What's the latest on Benjamin Sesko? What's the latest on Gyokeres? Let me find out for you guys right now. So the latest on Benjamin Sesko is very straightforward. Sesko, RB Leipzig are asking for a really high price tag, and it seems like Chelsea are also admirers for Benjamin Sesko, but they are out of the race for Benjamin Sesko. No way RB Leipzig let us get both Xavi Simons and Benjamin Sesko. I don't think both are going to happen at the same time. Also, what do you call it? Benjamin Sesko is also interested. You got Turkish clubs who are also interested in Benjamin Sesko. I don't think that's going to happen though. Benjamin Sesko's replacement seems to have been already signed, as Benjamin Sesko seems to be departing soon. RB Leipzig have already just made a striker signing. I don't know what this guy's name is. What's next? Benjamin Sesko has been removed from Chelsea's wish list once Liam Delap was signed. So Chelsea are not interested in signing Benjamin Sesko now that Liam Delap has been signed. This is the replacement for Benjamin Sesko that they have. 1 second. This is the replacement that Chelsea. This is the replacement that for Benjamin Sesko. That I don't know who this guy is, but there you go. That's the guy that is going to be replacing Benjamin Sesko at Leipzig. Don't really know who he is, but an hour ago, Leipzig have yet to enter concrete negotiations with any club regarding Benjamin Sesko, and not even Arsenal, with whom the player has reportedly been linked to. This is the latest. So the latest on Benjamin Sesko is we haven't done shit. That's crazy. The latest news on Benjamin Sesko is that we haven't done anything. That is insane. That is insane. That the latest news on Benjamin Sesko is that we haven't done much. Crazy. As for Viktor Gyokeres, the latest news on Viktor Gyokeres is that Arsenal have made an offer to Sporting for Gyokeres. Amazing. Sorry, Arsenal never made an offer. Why am I missing words? Oh my God, I'm so shit. I'm stressing out, guys. I'm sorry. Arsenal never made an offer for Sporting Viktor Gyokeres. Big thing to miss the word never. Big thing to miss the word never. So Talking Sporting says that Arsenal never made an offer. The Swedish is a target. Arteta prefers and always has been Sesko, but Gyokeres is still on the list. In case a deal doesn't materialize, he has preferred the Gunners over Manchester United. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Does he pivot in the case that the deal doesn't materialize? Also, not interested in talking about Partey right now. Arsenal have paused Gyokeres talks due to Sporting not reducing their demands, and are moving on to other targets like Sesko and Watkins. Oh my God. Guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't feel comfortable with this. I feel like at this point, somebody's using somebody as a smokescreen. Are Arsenal using Gyokeres as a smokescreen to get Sesko, or is Sesko a smokescreen to lower the price for Gyokeres? Or are they just using both against each other to try to get something out of each other? And why is Ollie Watkins even in the mix? He's like a failsafe. He's a third choice. Why is he now being spoken about in the same breath as Sesko and Gyokeres? Honestly, it is frustrating for fans. But clearly the club think they're going to get something out of this. Clearly the club thinks this is the best way to do business. Clearly this is how Andre Berta does business. I don't know. People, hit the like button. Let me know. Who do you think Arsenal is going to sign out of the three? Is it going to be Benjamin Sesko? Is it going to be Ollie Watkins? Is it going to be Viktor Gyokeres? Because the Ollie Watkins stuff is jarring, bro. It's jarring, as you guys would say in the UK. Because how is it that how is it that Arsenal did not sign Ollie Watkins in January, only to pay the same amount of money that they offered him to us for in the summer? If Arsenal's asking price for Gyokeres and Sesko is too high and we go and buy Ollie Watkins, we basically wasted 6 months out of our lives last year. Ollie Watkins maybe could have been the difference to help us win the Champions League. Ollie Watkins maybe could have been the difference to help us at least finish higher up the Premier League table and challenge for longer. Would you take Ollie Watkins at Arsenal as a fail-safe? Personally, if we sign Ollie Watkins instead of Gyokeres or Sesko, I don't know. As long as it wins us the goddamn league, I don't give a shit. But one thing I will tell you, we're not serious. We're not serious. If we go and sign Ollie Watkins at the age of 29 for 50 to 60 million, when we could have got him in the January window for the same 60 million, we're not serious as a football club. We're not. We're not. Plan C, Plan B, Plan A, whichever way you slice it, if we get Ollie Watkins, there's big questions that need to be asked to the Arsenal board who could have pulled this off last season instead of jeopardizing the whole end of last season. But yeah, people saying Ian Wright. Ian Wright joined at the age of 28. Ian Wright, by the age of 28, already had, by the age that Ian Wright joined us at 28, he had 2 seasons before he turned 30 where he was killing it. Ollie Watkins will become 30 this year. I'm sorry. I don't care too much about the age if he performs, but the reality situation is it's about what we fucked up in January. Why didn't we sign him before? Why didn't we sign him last summer? I'm sorry, stupid. Maybe I'm panicking too much. I'm not panicking at all. I'm done, guys. That's pretty much it. Not much more news to really discuss. Everything else is kind of quiet. There's not more news to be discussed, but we're gonna wrap it up here. Catch you guys on the next video. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Reece Nelson could be headed to Fulham also, so we're gonna have to wait and see what's going on. But as of right now, most of the stuff that's floating about, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here. Catch you guys in the next video. Love for the love, and hopefully we get an actual serious update on what's going on in the future. For now, peace out. 8 down.